retreat in Lapshi agreed to an interview, an unheard of opportunity.
You have come to Lapchi when I have taken a few days break in my retreat. This is an auspicious coincidence, and something like this can only happen because of past connections and aspirational prayers. Milarepa went on a very long retreat in Lapchi and reached enlightenment through the practice of Tummo. He left several footprints on the rocks of Lapchi, which attract many pilgrims. The disciples of many important masters have meditated at caves in Lapchi and the surrounding places. I am here on a retreat with permission from His Holiness Chetsang Rinpoche. After many years' retreat, I came to the conclusion that a human being's physical constitution in particular was a big impediment for serious practitioners. I came to realize that the only way to remove these impediments was to attain mastery over the 5 elements so that my practice did not have to be dependent upon sustenance and health. I read Milarepa's life history. It completely ravished away my mind. I strongly aspired to master the 6 yogas of Naropa, as well as the secret prana, nadi, and bindu, the 3 main components that are important in the practice of yoga. At any cost, I was determined to train myself to be able to master Tummo or Chandali. To do this, I found that Dharamsala was not conducive to the attainment of my aspirations. I needed a teacher who could pour down in me his experiential knowledge of such practices. I wanted the result of my efforts to create and leave an indelible imprint on my mind stream that I can forever carry forward. The most difficult thing to do is remain in single-pointed concentration. Bodily efforts, like doing hundreds of thousands of prostrations, and the efforts of speech, like recitation of mantras, are no problem. Controlling the mind is. I started my retreat when I was 9 years old. During that time, I went on a 1-month-long retreat. At first, it was very difficult for me. I was a little boy. I would count the days on my fingers, say 1 day is gone, 2 days gone, how many balance remaining? Should I go out of the retreat place? If I do, what would be the consequences? These kind of questions keep on popping up. And then, although verbally you are reciting the mantra, but your mind is really, really busy on trying to get out of the retreat place. But when you become more seasoned and more mature in your meditation and learning, things will change.
What I would like about the retreat is when you go to retreat and many weeks or many months being alone is very different. It will all subside our desire, anger, attachment.
At the age of 17, I entered monastery. Now from that day onwards to this day, I worked for the monastery for 2 years. Aside from that, I have devoted all my times ever since the age of 17 on retreats and meditation.
There's no such thing as sleep when we are in a retreat. And there is a particular box made, and we sit cross-legged in there. And we sit in that position whether it is day or night. We can break up our practice into 4 slots of time. And during that time, we may rest, but we will not get out of the box. We will continue sitting in that position all the time. Whoever wants to go on a retreat, whether that person is nun, monk, or layperson, all are welcome. The dispensation of Dharma teaching is like the sun's rays. It is for everyone to enjoy. The job of a retreat master is to guide all of those who are on retreat, giving commentary on the teachings relating to the particular retreat that one is on. How many sessions a retreat person has to do in the course of a day, what kind of visualization, what method of meditation, how one should do the mantra recitation, what are the graduated paths to this particular practice. So these are the kinds of things a retreat master will guide those who are on retreat. Once you come out of the retreat after 3 years, 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days, you are a different person.
If one is a different person after 3 years in retreat, the effect is exponential for those who have devoted decades to retreat. Indeed, the most profound evidence of the mind-altering effects of prolonged retreat are to be found in the oldest practitioners. Yet many of these elders have been imprisoned or killed in the half-century of Chinese occupation. Perhaps the oldest living Tibetan yogi is Drulong Rinpoche, possibly the most revered yogi alive today. Here, for the first time, he grants a filmed interview, a rare glimpse into the mind of a meditation master.
Now, I have meditated for a very, very long time. It is very difficult for me to exactly reflect back and count the years that I had meditated. The reason for this is because although I do appear like a human person outwardly, my mental state is so different in the sense that my focus on mundane things is not consistent. When one meditates, from the very day when one decides to go on solitary retreat, one has made a conscious decision to endure all kinds of losses: good clothing, good food, name, fame, and prestige. All these things one must be ready to forego and give up. We are rationed the barest minimum amount of water and roasted barley flour for our sustenance, so that we may be able to sit in a meditation posture. Only once in a week we would have the smallest possible amount of food for our sustenance. You have to persistently make a consistent effort and undergo all kinds of hardship. Without undergoing hardship, one would not be able to experience the mental state of all the glorious past masters. When I meditate, I can see all my former lives. I have been born in the realm of hell. I have been born as a hungry ghost. I have been born many times as animals. All these things become very, very clear when one is in meditation. I've gone through the 3 lower realms of existence many times. In my meditative absorption, I always go through the pardo or intermediate gap, which is to say, between death and rebirth. But there isn't a great deal of point going into these. When one understands this life and the life after as one, to such a person there's no need to go into these nitty-gritty things. When one's body is already dismantled in one's meditation, there's no question of death or discarding one's physical body.
The disciplined mind, then, becomes a powerful tool in its own right, enabling the practitioner to become aware of the subtle energies of the body, then master them through the breathing and physical postures known as yogas. Modern Western medicine has documented the mental powers of these meditation masters. One such practice, tumor